So, who else could go for some onigiri right now? I know I could. And some people are like, John, what's, that's not onigiri. And then some of you are like, what the fuck is onigiri anyway? Well, onigiri is, what you see, the triangular rice balls and you see in anime. Basically, it's just like a rice ball that's not really a ball, but it can be any shape. But traditionally, they're more of the triangular, and it's got the little thing of seaweed right there, or nori. And sometimes we'll have like sesame seed on it, or something like that. It can have a scent, like a filling to it. It might be plum, and might be bean paste. It's really good. I mean, it's so simple. Sometimes they'll have some tuna or some kind of fish in there. It's a very traditional snack in Japan. Easy for people on the go, especially when they come in wrappers. You can just kind of peel and just kind of. And because it's rice, like sticky rice, it forms together. Not a lot of mess, not a lot of cleanup afterwards, and it's fun making. I've never actually made onigiri myself, but I've always wanted to. But I know you're sitting here still thinking, I don't get it. Well, Bulba Garden, if you know Bulba Garden, it's Pokemon. And those are jelly-filled donuts. Now, when Pokemon came over to America, things had to be changed, obviously. So references to Japanese type things, Japanese food, had to be changed to something apparently Westerners would identify and know. So this is the start of it. As you can see, those are not jelly-filled donuts. Those are onigiri. But because children would look at those and not know what the fuck they were, 4Kids, though people who were dubbing Pokemon at the time, decided to make these delicious jelly-filled donuts. Jelly-filled are my favorite. Nothing beats a jelly-filled donut. And here's what onigiri actually, as you can see, this is topped with some seed, but it's a great snack. It's small, it's light. Like I said, you can have like sometimes it's a pickled plum center or red bean paste. They could have you can make dessert onigiri if you wanted to. I mean, because it's rice, it's so versatile. Because rice itself doesn't have much of a flavor. This is just more of the compartment to which it can hold. So it can be really anything. The receptacle. You got the nori sheet right there that you wrap around, and the jelly-filled are my favorite. Nothing beats a jelly-filled donut. That's the comment right over there. But like I said, traditional snack. But when 4Kids got it, or it came, like I said, came over to America, they had to change it. There was one episode where, in the not newer, but it was definitely in a season that I really wasn't watching. I think it was onigiri as well, but instead they changed it to a fucking sandwich. Like they actually, instead of just doing this and saying jelly-filled donut and be like, no, those are not jelly-filled, they actually redrew that part in the scene. So instead of, hang on, let me see if I can find it, because I think it was onigiri at first, and then they changed it to like a fucking sandwich. So hang on, let me see if I can find it. All right, so I found this one called 4Kids Hates Rice Balls, or onigiri. So we have Ash, Pikachu, and Snow Runt. I'm gonna just lower this. And then down the way comes a rice ball, onigiri. Ash catches it. It's a huge rice ball. So, but then in the, as you can see, it's kind of phasing in there. It becomes a sandwich. It becomes a sandwich. We have Jesse and James here. they're kind of fighting over the last rice ball. You have Meowth right there. I'm so hungry. I certainly want that rice ball. What? Perfect. But so they're fighting over the rice ball and blah blah blah. But then in the English one, actually, who was the one who took it? No, someone took my rice ball. Oh yeah, it was Munchlax. Clever little fuck. But then here they change it to a cracker. A cracker. They're fighting over one fucking cracker. And then, you know, we see Munchlax with the cracker, which obviously it's not even the same one because you just saw the plate. It's like a tiny thing. Munchlax is not a small Pokemon, and yet he's holding it with both fucking hands. And you can tell it was like how they just like slapped it in there. It looks so awkward. So we have this scene. We have Wartortle. I guess he's offering. This is the season I really wasn't watching. But apparently he's offering the Onigiri to Wartortle, and Wartortle rejects it. And then somehow it ends up in Ivysaur's mouth. Because Ivysaur's there for some reason, walking around and gets a delicious little snack. I mean, look at that face. That's a happy face. That's like, man, that was a good rice ball. But then we have this scene where, once again, it's changed to a fucking sandwich. You know, I hate when, now there are some things like maybe when it comes to, I don't know, sex, you know, because sex in Japan is looked at very differently than it is here. Hence why you have anime over there with younger girls who are very developed. You know, there's, I think it's like this meme where it's like they show the, like a child and mother, and the child is actually more developed than the mother is. It's like, oh yeah, 35-year-old woman built like a fucking 13-year-old. You have a 13-year-old child who's built like a 35-year-old. So the sex and betrayal of sex and anatomy, and so, it's very, very different over there. So when it comes to that censoring, that's fine, I guess. You know, because when it comes to America, they're very strict with that kind of stuff, along with several other countries. But when it comes to food of another country, wouldn't that be better to keep in? I mean, it's introducing, I mean, it's already a show from Japan. So wouldn't it be nice to call it as it is and get people wondering, hey, what's that? And then they do their research and they can discover more and learn more about the country where this originates. That's what, you know, it's making me think of Genshin Impact, especially with the Yunjin, with the Chinese opera. That one is an amazing thing for them because it introduced the rest of the world to something that China holds near and dear to them, something that's centuries old, and it, you know, not as many people are into it now, but they introduced it to the rest of the world, and after people saw it, they're like, oh, I gotta look it up. Oh my god, this is really, really cool. You know, you see the talent that goes into it, you know, the fact that some of these people have to train for 10 years or so just to learn how to control the voice and this and that. And they introduced it to the rest of the world, and the rest of the world was like, okay, this is fucking awesome. So the fact that they felt the need to cover up a rice ball when they could have easily left it in and called it a rice ball, and children are like, wait, rice ball, what's that? I've never seen that you know, I've never seen that here. They look it up and say, oh, it's okay. It's a gateway. You can kind of consider a gateway to discovering the culture of Japan. I mean, because there is a lot of times where they would do certain things, like certain like Jesse and James when they dress up and they start cheering, you know, people on and everything. They're dressed up in certain outfits and stuff like that. That's very Japanese, but people don't get that because it's not really explained. Um, or, the temples or shrines and this and that, because we don't have shrines here. So when they see this architecture and stuff like that, wouldn't it be great to just tell the kids what it is? Get people interested in another culture. But nothing beats an onigiri. These onigiri are great. Nothing beats a jelly-filled onigiri and their donuts. That is so amazing. They actually changed it to donuts and then called it onigiri. I don't know, like it would have taken 5 seconds to change. Exactly. You're wrong. This is an onigiri. God, I swear all of you are going to make me go Maverick one day. These donuts are delicious. Jelly-filled donuts. Lemon raspberry. Uh-huh. Yes, bra reference. Wait, what? Krispy Kreme? Must be their new flavors. Chili-filled donut. Yeah, I never understood that, the reasoning. Like I said, when it comes to certain things, obviously names would probably have to be, changed from, Ash in Japan, Satoshi, named after Satoshi Tajiri, who made Pokemon. So a lot of the names would have to be changed, but I mean, honestly, they could have kept the names the same, honestly. But stuff like that, food could have easily been kept the same. The only thing that would have been is, like I said, they have a very, like if you look at some of the Pokemon episodes, the Beauty and the Beach, the Pokemon. God damn it. Pokemon Beauty and the Beach. Now, this actually did show here, but it's this infamous episode. Now, though, those are not. James does not have tits. It's an inflatable. You see him pull the string and they woof. It's also very focused on Misty in a bathing suit. There's an old dude who keeps perving on her. I mean, that's Japan too. I mean, look at all the anime with pervy old dudes who try hitting on all the small girls. So it's for over there. It's used for comic purposes. So, but this is the infamous episode with James and his inflatable tits. That this actually wasn't this episode was shown, but this was cut out. Dialogue has to be rewritten, stuff like that. Yeah, this fucking dude perving on Misty, or Kasumi as she is in Japan. Delia. You have this kinds of censorship. This was the episode with the Safari Zone that we didn't get to see because it was never dubbed. But they go to the Safari Zone, and the warden tells them about Dratini. Jesse and James obviously want Dratini. They're holding this dude hostage with a fucking gun to his head. So can't really show that stuff. Which is really stupid. They could have easily made that into something else or just cut that scene altogether. I mean, I saw the episode once. I don't really remember too much about it, but Which one was this? Every time, yeah, Ash cross-dressing. James and Jesse and James, their outfits. How Jesse is always the dude, and James is always dressed as the girl. And, oh, hey, look, it's our buddy here. Extra cheesy McDonald's. Gee, Nick, can't imagine why you're getting fat. Banned cartoon episodes, obviously fake, but you get the idea. Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff in Japan that's very different than over here. Food, their snacks are a lot different than ours, but they're also really good. Like the 7-Elevens over there. The 7-Elevens are like full-on freaking restaurants. You can go, it's really cool. You can go in there, and it's not just in Japan. I think there is in China, Korea, Taiwan, those. But you go in, and I haven't been into a 7-Eleven in ages, so it might be different here now. But you go in, and you have like hot food and stuff that you can do, and sit down and eat in the store itself. It's really, really cool. A lot of huge selections of stuff. Of like noodles and sandwiches and breads, and it's really cool. But very different culture over there. Rice balls, like I said, very traditional, on the go. You can eat them anytime. You can heat them up. You can eat them cold. Doesn't matter. Different fillings, whether it be tuna or plum or bean paste or something like that. Might have matcha or green tea sprinkled on top. It could have sesame seed on it. Or like I said, it's rice, so it's a blank canvas. It'll taste of whatever you put on it or in it. But it's just a classic scene, and I really wish they would have just. I don't know if they're doing it. I mean, I haven't watched Pokemon in a long time, so I don't know if they are sticking to traditional foods when they're in there and not just fucking like, oh, it's a rice ball. Slap some fucking sandwich. Like, they keep ramen. Ramen is Japanese. Well, kind of. But ramen stays in. You see them doing like the traditional, you see them do, with the tea and stuff like that. But for some reason, rice balls are just a no-no or something. But like I said, I think it would have gotten kids more involved in the culture, seeing something they've never seen before, and they would have looked it up. I mean, of course, I don't know how the kids would have looked it up, because they'd be calling them Japanese jelly-filled donuts or something, and they'd be coming up with actual jelly-filled donuts. No, then again, it would probably... I think you'd probably just put in Pokemon jelly-filled donuts and would say, oh yeah, those jelly-filled donuts are actually onigiri, blah, blah, blah. So, they could find it. But, nothing beats a jelly-filled donut. I think that's the Mankey episode when he catches Primeape, or... Yeah, when he catches Primeape. It's a cute episode, too. The Mankey comes along, and it's all cute and sweet until it's not. Brock tries to throw a fucking onigiri at it. It takes Ash's hat, but then he catches it, and then like an idiot, he gives it up. He enters like this tournament type thing, and then it's like, oh yeah, your Primeape's really strong. You should leave it here to train. Yeah, and then he never goes back for it. Just like Haunter, although Haunter was never his. Really, Haunter just followed him. Or like Pidgeot. It's like, oh yeah, Pidgeot, don't worry, I'll come back and see you, and never saw him again. Ash has had like all these fucking strong Pokemon, and he never does anything with them. Idiot. Also, Brock's name in Japanese, his name is Takeshi. So you have Takeshi, Kasumi, and Satoshi. And Pikachu's name is the same. Togepi is the same. But then the other Pokemon have different names, because that's another thing. They can't just keep them Japanese names, because sometimes they're puns and of Japanese words, so they don't translate very well. If they were to keep them, then it doesn't translate well for an American audience. So yeah, they kind of stick to the style of having like a pun or two words together to describe what it is. Kind of like Charmander, charcoal, fire, mander, salamander. He's a fire salamander. Pikachu, chew being mouse, Pika electric mouse. So, but some of them have to change because, like I said, it's a lot of they like to use puns. Like coughing and wheezing, we're going to be called like CA and LA, obviously, because they're smoke, toxic Pokemon, California, and LA known for pollution, waste, and all that. So, but yeah, if you ever get curious about Japanese lifestyle and culture, and look it up. I mean, I started because of anime and stuff, but now I love the culture. I really do. I have so much respect for the culture, and saying you like it because of anime is one thing, but then when you take the time to learn some of the language and their customs and traditions and stuff like that, you actually like the culture, which I love the culture. It's not just like, well, what about Japan do you like? Well, I like the anime. But I love the culture. So, and it's thanks to anime that I got introduced to the culture. Because back then, when I was a kid, you really didn't see any Japanese things on TV or anywhere really, apart from maybe the TVs you were watching. But we didn't know they were made in Japan. The electronics and stuff like that. But thanks to the internet and stuff like that, you can look up anything you want and read and discover things about other countries. And it's a country I'm never going to get to go to. So that's like my one thing in life I wanted to do, is go to Japan. Even if it was like just for a little while. But that's not going to happen anytime soon. Anyways, what did you guys think when you first saw this episode? Were you just as confused? Or are some of you Japanese and you were living in America and you saw it and you're like, oh, hey, I know that. Let me know. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.